This week in the NBA, we had coaches asking their home crowd to be nice. We had the players and officials not being nice with each other, and the NBA is begging you, please care about this in-season tournament.
How about no?
We're going to talk about it all. Let's get into this. We'll kick things off with the uppercase news of the week. And in case some of you haven't noticed, with the NBA courts looking like there's something out of a kid's coloring book, the NBA is having their first ever in-season tournament. That's right, one NBA team will be the first to win the NBA Cup. And the NBA is doing everything they can to throw that directly in your face. They are having players do interviews telling you how much they care about winning this cup, and the teams are showing how much they care in that Denver's already eliminated, Clippers are gone, Mavericks eliminated, and of course the Detroit Pistons and the Washington Wizards were decidedly eliminated before their first game even tipped off. Just the NBA decided you ain't doing nothing. At the top of the standings right now for this tournament, you've got the Indiana Pacers out east. They've already clinched the spot. Now west, you've got the Los Angeles Lakers. Oh man, if the Lakers win this NBA Cup, can you imagine how stiff the LeBron lovers are going to get on this? Any NBA Cups did Michael Jordan win? Zero NBA Cups. Why LeBron's the greatest of all time. Look out! ESPN and Bleacher Report would probably just explode. In other news, we had players missing games, whether that's because they were injured and some because they got their feelings hurt by an official. Paul George getting fined for making comments about the officiating. We had more confirmation that Scott Foster and Chris Paul just hate each other. Scott Foster throwing Chris Paul out. Nikola Jokic and Coach Malone were both tossed in their game against the Detroit Pistons. Although it was reported that Nikola looked at the game, said it was against Detroit, and told the team, you know what, I'm gonna leave work early on this one. You guys handle it, all right?
Down, we can go home now.
And now moving on to the what the news of the week. Kawhi Leonard was back in his old stomping grounds of San Antonio. The Spurs crowd was all too ready to give him the old LMO welcome back.
Boo this man!
However, the what the part of this story, Spurs head coach Greg Popovich was not having any of the booing. Coach Popovich actually went to the scores table and grabbed the PA announcer's mic to talk to the crowd mid-game. Pop basically went grumpy old man on the crowd, told him he didn't like what was going on and that they need to play nice with Kawhi.
Stop it.
Kawhi did seem grateful for Pop's actions and had this to say after the game.
What do you want me to say?
And in other NBA what the news, Oklahoma City's Josh Giddey, you know what? I'm not going to touch on that one right now. In this week's game of the week, we had all-star level play in that defense was optional. Indiana Pacers against the Atlanta Hawks. We saw the Indiana Pacers come out with a win 157 to 152. 309 points scored in regulation. No overtimes in this one, just the 4 quarters, 309 points. Damn. Which leads me into the player of the week. That's going to be Tyrese Halliburton of Indiana. Halliburton had himself a week, let me tell you. That game against Atlanta, he had 37 points, 16 assists, 5 rebounds. The very next night against Toronto, he dropped 33, 16 assists, 3 rebounds. And then to finish out the week against Detroit, he had 26 and 10 assists. Halliburton's play this year has definitely putting him up near that elite tier of players in the NBA. We saw him improve his game last year, but man, he's taking it to a whole nother level this year. And what's really good to see about it is it's also translating to his team being more successful. The Pacers are definitely looking like a playoff level team. Still early in the season, but we'll see if they can carry that through. For the top team of the week, we are looking at the Orlando Magic. Orlando actually had a busy week with 5 games, winning all 5. That included a win over the Pacers, over the Denver Nuggets, and over the Boston Celtics. Overall, they've won 6 straight, and they're looking like their young talent is finally putting it together and looking like they may be a force in the East. But as I mentioned, the top team of the week, I gotta mention the basement team of the week. And it's getting to be a tough decision. The same 2 teams are always sitting in the basement this year. We've got the Detroit Pistons and the Washington Wizards. The Detroit Pistons are currently on a 13-game losing streak. Yeah, Detroit Pistons fans, right now, it's a cold world.
It's so cold in the deep.
The Washington Wizards are keeping pace with him. They are currently on a 9-game losing streak. So it's tough to pick a team of who's going to sit in the basement. And luckily, I don't have to. Monday night, the Detroit Pistons will host the Washington Wizards. So one of these teams will break that losing streak. And to prepare us for that Monday night game, here is some pregame summary.
What time